Warning, this video contains spoilers for the Castlevania universe, mostly of the Netflix animated adaptation. Please finish the series before starting this video. Hey, you, sitting on the couch freaking out about how amazing Season 4 of the Netflix series The Castlevania was. I know, right? Wasn't the whole thing nuts? We got to see Death, which I think should have been around from the beginning, but kinda sorta is. But uh-oh, now what? What about the Belmont bloodline? The Belnatus bloodline? Who will stop Dracula next? Because you know as well as us fans do, he's coming back, and he's still hot. So now that you finished the Netflix show, you're probably wondering about the story itself on where to continue off of. And that's why you're probably here, to learn, to adapt, to totally spend a lot of money on the games that literally are out in the open right now. Or, you know. Boy, where do I start? I'm a huge fan of this series. I have been since I was a little kid and have followed this series obsessively. Unfortunately, it seems like the best games ever happen to be owned by one of the worst companies ever who doesn't give a damn about the games.
Haha. Fuck you.
And more for gambling addictions, so that's what makes this harder for if you're trying to get into the series via a collector's standpoint and buy the games. They're more likely to be expensive to buy, and you're not trying to deal with that. This video kinda eliminates having to do that, cause I'm just gonna go straight with it and give you a rundown of how the story of Castlevania works, so you got a good understanding of where to go from here. And possibly geek out with me to figure out the next Netflix series and who will be the next Belmont, and yeah, totally not pointing the Richter Belmont, please Warren Ellis, please! Wait, hold up. In the making of this video, they announced a fucking animated series for Richter Belmont and Marie. We're getting a Rondo of Blood animated adaptation. In the making of this video, did I predict something? Did I cause this? We're getting a fucking Rondo of Blood animated series. Oh my god. This is... Alright, back to the video. To start this off, let's talk about what the Netflix series was based off of. Castlevania was based on the third entry of the game series for the NES, Draculas Curse, and it was made to be a prequel of the first two games to let us know that this is where Dracula originated. Until this game. But we'll talk about that later. The story for the NES games were very simple, much like other NES games at the time. You're playing a vampire hunter and your objective is to fight and kill Dracula, along with his minions such as zombies, bats, zombie knights that throw axes, and a panther. As you progress, there are bosses you must destroy, whom of which are very difficult to fight, unless you got this bad boy right here, the Holy Water. No, trust me, it's the most powerful weapon in the game and the cheapest, but who's the judge? The bosses include a bigger bat, a giant Medusa head, who also has a minion of smaller Medusa heads that are the most annoying enemies in the entire fucking series, two mummies, fucking Frankenstein, and literally the prince himself, Death. Even the Grim Reaper is riding Dracula's dick, and they are really close. And that's it, you fight Dracula, he has two forms, and beat the game. It's so simple. See, this is what I mean. This is what Castlevania was. But we just needed to have some kind of plot to make it even better. Not this one. So that's where Dracula's Curse came in and basically set the plot to something more. That this would be the first Belmont to defeat Dracula.
Oh my god. That is better than sex.
If you know the story from Netflix, then you have an understanding of why it's called Dracula's Curse. Bro, did you hear? A bunch of ugly-ass white priests just killed a poor guy's wife because, scary monster! You can make a religion out of this. This is obviously more branched off in the show, but in the game, you were just Trevor, the last Belmont of the bloodline, and you gotta kill this guy. Along the way, as you play the game, there's Sypha, there's Grant, who never made it to the show, oops. Then there's his son, Alucard. You team up, you fight, you win. And yes, it is absolutely canon that Sypha and Trevor do end up together, and guess who's jealous? This guy! So he's never seen again. Wild, right? Now that we've discussed the NES trilogy, and by that I mean only these two games, where to next? Well, we can't exactly jump into the other sequels, cause there is a game in the series that takes place literally right after Dracula's Curse, starring the one you know and love. So we gotta make a massive jump into the future to talk about...
I must descend into darkness, and reclaim that accursed power once more. Heed my words! I will hunt you down like the beast you are!
So I love this game very much. Like, so much. This is where Hector and Isaac originate as characters of the series, but the story is vastly different to what you learned in the Netflix series, though the objective is kind of the same. Isaac is a villain. He's not so much a villain back in Season 4, but I mean, hey, that's another conversation. You do gotta fight and kill him, and along the way you meet a few lovely cast of characters like, uh-oh, who is this?
You again. Oh, it's you. I was expecting someone else.
Hey, remember Saint Germain from the show? Say hi, this is him. It's the guy. You're never going to see him again either, because he makes no appearance later in the series. Also, Trevor Belmont is back, so you see the resemblance? Damn, it's almost like Castlevania is based on Castlevania. Anyways, Hector teams up with him to fight Isaac, which works, you win, but uh-oh, Dracula got revived, so have fun with that, and that's Curse of Darkness. Before we continue to go next, what happened to Alucard? Well, in Dracula's Curse, he basically does go back to sleep, and you really won't be seeing him in games for a while. And I suppose the same with the Netflix show, but we know how that ended, so we don't know where to go from here next. And also, remember this one painting in Season 2? Hey baby, how you doing?
What just happened? I felt something strange.
Hey, so welcome to the game I said we talk about, Lament of Innocence. This one time when I finally bought a copy of this game at a thrift store, the cashier and coworker had a death battle on who could say the title of the game 10 times fast. Neither of them won, but hey, I got the game for 12 bucks used in great condition. Good luck to you guys. This is Leon Belmont, also known as the very first Belmont of the story. Dracula isn't a thing at this point in time, and it goes way back into the past. The story doesn't matter at all because none of it is relevant except for two things. See this guy? He turns into Dracula at the end of this game. Great, huh? And back to Leon, my man, my beautiful man with a, lovely voice.
It was my revenge against God.
Revenge against God?
He went on to start the Belmont clan dedicated to fighting enemies of the dark, so he's totally kinda sorta maybe definitely important. Why else is he in the Netflix show as a big old painting? Obviously because he's cute, that's the only reason. Now that we got that information out of the way, it's time to play Who is the Next Belmont? Simon? Man, we just talked about him. And he also got this cool neat game called Super Castlevania 4, because the SNES had every game called Super. But also, according to the wonderful world of Wiki, Simon is a Dhampir in this game only, meaning half human, half vampire, and it's never explained. Ever. In other words, this game isn't canon. You don't gotta worry about it story-wise, but please for the love of God play it. It's one of the best games in the series. You can fuck around with your whip and call it a day. Or a horrible night to have a curse. But we got a more important Belmont to bring up. Not you.
Farewell!
Yes, Poppy, I'm talking about you. So fun fact, this game never actually released outside of Japan until like 2007, because America didn't have a PC engine, and we had whatever the fuck this thing was. But it was important enough to get a mini console recently, thanks I guess Konami. But this game is considered one of the very best of the series, and one of the hardest games ever. And guess what? Who cares? I love it! This is my favorite Castlevania ever, cause this boy toy is my favorite Belmont, the handsome boy. He's also the most powerful Belmont cause he can use super special moves that apparently none of the Belmonts could do. So, Rondo of Blood is about Richter Belmont. His girlfriend is kidnapped by Dracula along with some important women of his village. Some sick fuck degenerate thought it'd be funny to revive Dracula again, so now we're back to this nonsense. Richter goes out to fight, meets death like right at the very beginning, and it starts. What's wild about this game is you can continue with multiple scenarios. You have the option to go to a different stage, which makes replayability a thing. But you're going to want to continue like normal for the first stage if it's your first playthrough, since the next stage is the only way to rescue probably one of the most important characters in this series, Maria Renard.
You're too young for this. You just let the big hunter here take care of that bad man, okay?
Oh, you don't know anything! I can handle this just fine!
She's only 12, but she can summon animals, so why not let her fight, I guess? She can also double jump, though at the disadvantage that she can lose more health than Richter, so hey, pick your poison. This game's soundtrack also kicks ass, with remixes of older BGMs and new tracks. The duo rescues everyone and goes off to fight Death again, and then Dracula. Depending on who you play is when you defeat Dracula, you get a different ending. Obviously the Maria one is 100% canon.
Perhaps this, too, is part of my fate.
It's your fault for being so mean to everyone. It's crumbling! Everyone, run for it! Quickly!
Totally was like this for the rest of the canon. I'm kidding, no, Richter wins. Now that Rondo of Blood is done, knock knock, it's revolutionary gaming time.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets! But enough talk! How about you?
What's up, I'm Symphony of the Night, and I'm gonna be the game that inspired all of these, but no one will play me. Or this. This is probably considered the best Castlevania in the series, and it's cause it introduced something super new but still classic as hell. Metroid basically existed, and when a couple loves each other very much, something beautiful is born, and that's Symphony of the Night. We love to see it. So what makes Symphony of the Night so important in the story? Well, it's a direct sequel to Rondo of Blood, and Dracula wasn't really killed in the game either. Instead, he possesses Richter to be the Lord of Castlevania. Wow, how does Alucard rescue him? Well, it's a long journey, especially since this isn't your ordinary Castlevania game. This is advanced Metroidvania darkness, so there's a lot of backtracking and a lot of leveling up. Why? Surprise, RPG system! And a color palette chooser thing for the menu, which you can also get for your clothes later. You walk in, high def, and then he just takes all of your shit. Wow, it's that kind of party. So you're spending your time leveling up and fighting with bare equipment, while also looking for stuff that are way better. Wow, is this JRPG? Eventually, you meet someone who no one knows of if you didn't play Rondo of Blood. Hi, Maria Renard. Guess what? She has a crush on Alucard. That's it. Have fun. You do eventually find Richter, but you need a certain item in order to beat him, but still go for the true ending. Otherwise, hello, bad ending. Turns out Richter was controlled by a superstar basketball player, Shaq, and turns out he wants to revive Dracula because literally everyone wants to. And in order to stop him from doing that, you gotta turn the castle upside down to find him. Literally. So now it's Symphony of the Night, hard mode. Enjoy your time. You get to fight some insane enemies and bosses that can sometimes kill you in a few hits. You even get to learn about Alucard's mom, Lisa. Hey, remember her from the show? And you also gotta find 2 specific items to open the clock tower door to fight Shaq, but fuck you, Dracula is revived anyway into God who the fuck knows what this is, and it's insanely difficult.
You have been doomed ever since you lost the ability to love.
Sarcasm.
And so Symphony of the Night is done, but damn, what now? Well, there are these cool DS Castlevania games you can play. There's one that takes place in the year 2100 plus because we definitely lived that long, and suddenly it takes place in Japan. This is because at one point another Belmont comes through named Julius, and he actually kills Dracula for good. But is it really for good? Because Dracula is revived again, but this time reincarnated as Soma Cruz. And who are you? Anime boy, of course. And that's kinda it. It's hard to tell where it goes from here next because Castlevania is such a forgotten series, not from us, but from the company that even made the games. The fact that we got an animated series speaks volumes on how much the fans appreciate this series. All Konami gave us next was a fighting game that features Light Yagami from Death Note and a stupid god-awful pachinko machine that will never reach overseas. All we have is each other, and me telling y'all to play the games already, and the Netflix series. Who will revive Dracula next? Find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. We're getting a fucking Rondo of Blood animated series! Oh my god, oh my god! Thanks for watching. I hope this was somewhat insightful. I don't upload too often, but I try. And hey, if you really like this, definitely consider subscribing or whatever. Love you, miss you, see you later.